The headlines: Israel to investigate allegations of horrific sexual abuse of detainees, and Tunisia's President Said sacks Prime Minister. This is the world news. A beautiful afternoon to you, and thanks for joining us on the world news on Providence Television International. Edna Caesar Garrick is my name. At least 27 people have been reported killed in Israeli attack across the central and south Gaza Strip in an especially blood day. These include at least Palestinians. A mother and her children were incinerated when their tent was bombed in Khan Yunis. Residents and displaced Palestinians have been ordered by the Israeli military to immediately evacuate the Beit Hanun and Beit Lahia areas of northern Gaza ahead of an expected large-scale army operation. Reports say that 3 people were killed and others injured in an Israeli airstrike that targeted a house in Buredi refugee camp. Attacks on the central Gaza Strip have been constant for the past day. The U.S. State Department has reacted to a video allegedly showing Israeli soldiers sexually assaulting a Palestinian detainee at a detention camp, saying it is aware of the footage and that Israel would swiftly probe the allegations. Several Israeli soldiers sanctioned at the camp are already under investigation for allegedly abusing Palestinian speaking protests from frightened Israeli activists and lawmakers. Away from that now to Austria, where 3 Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna this week have been called off. Organizers said after the authorities announced arrest over an apparent plot to launch an attack on a public event in the Austrian capital. Swift was scheduled to perform at the Ernst Happel Stadium on Thursday, Friday and Saturday as part of her Eras tour. Event organizer Barracuda Music said in a post that they had no choice but to cancel the 3 scheduled shows for everyone's safety, citing government official confirming a planned attack at the stadium. Barracuda Music said all tickets will be refunded. Police detained 2 people suspected of planning attack on concert. Franz Ruf, Director General for Public Security, report. Before the cancellation announcement, police had said the event would take place, but with increased entry checks and personnel search, and with deployment of special units, including anti-terror and bomb disposal teams, advising the public to arrive early. Swift, 34, had not yet commented on the cancellation, and Swift fan group panic ensued following the announcement of the cancellation. Tunisia's President Kais Saied has sacked Prime Minister Ahmed Haqqani and replaces him with the Social Affairs Minister. The statement from the President's office did not specify why Haqqani was removed. Haqqani has taken office on August 1st last year, replacing Najla Boudin, who was also dismissed without an official reason by Saied few hours before he was dismissed. Haqqani said in a video message that the government had made progress on a number of issues despite global challenges, including securing the country's food and energy needs. The sacking comes ahead of Tunisia's October 6th presidential election, in which Saied is seeking another term amid widespread accounting over continuing water and electricity outrages in many parts of the country, while the government attributes these issues to a persistent drought leading to the implementation of a water distribution quota system. Saied claims that water quotas are conspiracy in the run-up to presidential election, insisting that the dams are actually full. Still ahead of the world news, Russia reports that fighting is continuing for a second day in the country's Kursk border region following an incursion by the Ukrainian forces. The Russian Defense Ministry said that its troops had prevented the pro-Kiev forces from advancing deep into the country, while reporting it repelled aerial attacks overnight. Ukraine has not confirmed the assault on the southwestern Russian region, which sits on the border between the pair, with the fighting continuing. 50 Ukrainians armored vehicles, including 7 tanks, 8 armored personnel carriers, 3 infantry fighting vehicles, and 31 armored combat vehicles had been destroyed. Reports suggest that the Ukrainians has occupied several settlements in the Kursk region. Russian officials claim to have shot down several missiles and drones targeting Kursk overnight. 5 people were killed and about 28 wounded. Shrimnov and local health authorities said 6 children were among the injured. A senior Orthodox clergyman said Ukrainian shelling has set ablaze cathedral and other buildings with a large monastery outside the border town of Shudza, but no one was hurt. If you are just joining us, this is the world news on Providence Television International. Indian's Vinesh Phogat pulled off her hair and forced herself into a smaller singlet, but still fell 100 grams short of Olympic glory in a cruel twist to the roller coaster career of one of the most compelling wrestlers of her time at the Paris Games. While 1 billion plus Indians went to bed at night thinking they were assured of silver medal and dreaming of a golden from Phogat, the 29 years old was seeing everything she could get below the 50 kg mark. None of the measures worked. However, Phogat was disqualified on Wednesday with Cuba's Yuchelis Gaiman, who she beat in the semi-finals, replacing her in the freestyle final against Sarah Hildebrandt of the United States. It was a sad end to a campaign that began with the biggest upset of commotion in Paris as Phogat stunned defending champion Yu Susaki in what was the Japanese grappler's first loss to a foreigner. Phogat has practically starved herself for a week, exercised, and spent hours in the sauna as part of her usual process to cut kilos from her natural 55 to 56 kg down to her competition weight. Away from the foreign scene now to back to Nigeria, it says federal government of Nigeria has warned foreign countries to stay clear of the nation's internal affairs. This comes against the backdrop of foreign flags being flown during the ongoing protests against hardship in the country, especially in some northern states, including Kano, Kaduna, and Zamfara. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, who gave the warning while briefing members of the diplomatic corps in Abuja, highlighted the importance of cordial international relations. The minister appealed for continued collaboration from international community to help tackle the challenges faced by Nigerians, stressing that no nation tolerates foreign interference in its domestic affairs. And still back home, the federal government has begun investigation into the violence that occurred during the nationwide protest, saying it would definitely identify and bring to justice all those responsible for it. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, gave the assurance while briefing members of the diplomatic community at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja. He further stated that President Bola did not come to the office to cause hardship or make life difficult for Nigerians. The president recently assured Nigerians that his government was already taking measures to address the pains and close the gap caused by the removal of subsidy on fuel. A mass at the instant of death has been held in repose of the soul of the Archbishop Emeritus of Benin City, Most Reverend Dr. Patrick Ebosele Eku, at the chapel of Bishop Kelly Pastoral Center, Airport Road, in the state capital of Edo State. The mass that was presided over by Archbishop of Benin City, described Archbishop of Benin City, Most Reverend Augustine Akubeze, was well attended by priests and religious across the archdiocese, including some lay faithful who were very close to the late Archbishop Emeritus. During the homily, the parish priest of St. John Vianney Catholic Church, Benin City, Reverend Father Alfred Agbonlahor, described the late Archbishop as a care and gentle father He said later that Bishop Ekpu, though a man of little word, was a very industrious man who devoted his life for the development of the church in Benin City and Nigeria at large. Meanwhile, a date has been set aside for the funeral activities of the late clergyman beginning from 21st to 22nd of August at Holy Cross Cathedral, Mission Road, Benin City, has announced by the Chancellor of Benin City, Very Reverend Dr. Michael Oyanafo. With that, we've come to the end of the world news. But before we go, a recap. We brought you the story which says 3 Taylor Swift concerned Vianney this week have been called off. Organizers said the authorities announced arrest over an apparent plot to launch an attack on a public event in the Australia capital. Swift was scheduled to perform at the Cross Papel Stadium on Thursday, Friday and Saturday as part of her Eras Tour. Event organizer Barracuda Music said in a post that they had no choice but to cancel the 3 scheduled shows for everyone's safety, citing government official confirming a planned attack at the stadium. Edna Caesar Garrick is my name. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.